All right, let's start with a quick review of the order of operations. It's parentheses, exponents, and then multiplication and division, and that is grouped as you're going across from left to right. Those are equally important, so whichever one is first, you do them in that order, and then finally addition and subtraction, commonly referred to as PEMDAS. All right, so let's look at the first one. I have the absolute value of 5 minus 8 to the third power plus 54 divided by 6. Now, when you're looking at this, I want you to see that whenever you have inside these absolute value symbols, it's similar to a grouping symbol of parentheses. So that comes underneath the parenthesis portion of this. So 5 minus 8 is the absolute value of negative 3. Then I have to cube it, but the absolute value of a negative 3 is a positive 3. Then I cube it. All right, so now I'm on to the exponent part. Let me go ahead and copy down the rest of this. Plus 54 divided by 6. So now we are on to the exponent part of the equation. Positive 3 to the third power becomes just 27. And then the next portion is multiplication and division. Again, that is as it goes across from left to right. So that tells me I have to do 54 divided by 6 first. 54 divided by 6 is 9. And now finally I do the addition. 27 plus 9 is 36. And that would be our final answer for this question. When you're going through and putting in values for variables, this is saying x is equal to negative 1, y is equal to 2, and z is equal to 3. When you put those pieces in, make sure you're putting them in for each individual piece. And because this gets a little complicated, what you really need to do is always think about putting in parentheses wherever you see those variables, and that's what you put inside the parenthesis. You put the negative 1 inside the parenthesis, the 2 and the 3 inside the parenthesis. And that's really important because we need to know how to deal with these negative signs, and knowing that they're inside the parenthesis really makes a difference. So this gives us 3 times negative 1 squared minus 4 times negative 1 times 3 minus my y, which was 2. Now, order of operations here again tells us everything that we have to do first. So what I have to do first is the negative 1 squared. So that gives us 3 times 1 minus 4. Now what I'm doing inside here is I am doing my multiplication pieces next. So I'm taking that negative 1 times the 3, and that will give us a negative 3 minus 2. I still have more multiplication in here. I still have my 3 times my 1, and I'm going to add some grouping symbols here to make sure that we're careful. I want to do 4 times negative 3, so that leaves me with 3 minus, and again, I'm only doing the 4 times negative 3, which is going to give us a negative 12. If you did that all at once and said that was a negative 4 times a negative 3, that's fantastic. That will also work because you're left with the same thing as 3 plus 12 and that minus 2. I go through and now just add and subtract as I go across, and that leaves me with a 13. So the first thing I want to do is break this apart. One of the things that we want to look at here is whenever we see the is, I want to replace that with an equal sign. And whenever you have 2 times a number, that's the same thing as saying 2x. And 7 times a number is 7x. So we're going to translate this into the equation. Next piece, 5 more than just becomes 5 plus. The only thing that we have to be careful about with this one is this 25 less than. This 25 less than means it's coming after the 7 times the number, and that's going to be now 7x minus 25. So the equation that I have for this is 5 plus 2x is equal to 7x minus 25. First thing I want to go ahead and do with this equation is I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. Then I'm going to be left with 5 is equal to 5x. The next thing I want to do is add my 25 to both sides. And I am left with 30 is equal to 5x. Divide both sides by 5. And finally, I have x is equal to 6. When you're looking at a question like this, there's a little trick inside here that's really important. It says first, in a given triangle, the second angle is 3 times the first. This actually gives us both of the angles. My first angle then, I let just equal x. And my second angle then is 3 times the first. So it's really important that you understand that whenever you see that idea of the first angle embedded inside there, that tells you that both what the first angle is and the second angle. Now, the last one that we have is the third angle. The third angle is equal to 15 more than the first. So that just gives me x plus 15. Now, what is a fact that we know about all of the angles in a triangle is all of the angles, angle 1, 2, and 3, they have to sum equal to 180. So that gives me my equation. I have x plus 3x plus x plus 15 is equal to 180. Now with this, I want to add up all of my x's, understanding that the coefficient in front of both of those is 1. So that leaves me with 3, 4, 5x plus 15 is equal to 180. I want to subtract 15 from both sides of that equation, and I get 5x is equal to 165. Divide by 5, and I am left with x is equal to 33. Now we have to go up to the very beginning to find out what all of the angles are. So for the first angle, that is just going to equal 33. For my second angle, that's going to be 3 times 33, or equal to 99. And for the last angle, the third one, it's going to be 33 plus 15 to give me 48. It is very important you put them in the right place. It is not the size of the angle that is important. It doesn't go from smallest to largest. It goes by the definition of what you were given for the first, second, and third angle.